In this video, we have a guy that's recording himself walking and singing. While he's walking, a small, strange-looking figure comes out the bushes and starts to chase him. Let's watch.
The 3 worst foods that you should never eat if you don't want brain parasites. The first is sushi. Number 2 is farm salmon, notorious for parasites and being infested with sea lice. The third is pork. Pork is absolutely loaded with parasites, specifically tapeworm. I used to eat tons of salmon and sushi, and when I decided to deworm, I passed a mass of liver flukes. I now never eat these foods and deworm at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Is it true if you have a big drive for sugar, it could be a parasite thing?
100%, especially candida, because candida is sugar driven, but they thrive off of sugar. So you're feeding them instead of feeding yourself. We all have yeast in our body. So an overgrowth of yeast ends up being candida, which ends up being a parasite as well.
Are there ways to identify if you have parasites?
Grinding of the teeth, skin issues, a lot of skin issues stem because this is our biggest organ. And so when toxins are trying to run out, they push out our skin. IBS, gut issues, bathroom issues.
Will it show up on a blood test?
If you get specific testing, yes. And especially if you do it over the full moon.
Full moon?
Because you know the full moon is a thing. They're the most active during a full moon. You know why everyone's kind of crazy during a full moon is because they're eating your serotonin. They live off of it. That's why they make you feel sad.
Something that feels really illegal to know is that doctors literally just leave parasites off your reports. Like when they do your blood works or whatever, or any of your work, and they're like looking at stuff, they can see that you're infected seriously with parasites, and they take it off the report. I seen a video of a nurse talking about how she put the parasites in the report because the parasites were causing the disease. And when she looked at the report that was given to the patient, it was gone. It was gone. So eat your papaya. Take your chlorophyll to get rid of them heavy metals, cleanse your body out, because they not telling you what's affecting you.
America, we have a major issue.
Major issue.
The Syria thing is way worse than anyone thought. Where do I start? So basically Friday, the FDA sent out a massive warning to everyone about this Syria outbreak. And they found it at Walmart and Aldi and Kroger. So now all 3 stores are recalling vegetables and herbs.
Y'all be careful.
Guacamole and salsa. This is bad, guys.
Real
bad. Salad mixes. You've got different herbs. You guys, this is all over the place. I know a lot's going on in the world right now, but be careful what you're buying. Basically,
it ain't just
Kroger
seafood.
came out and said that if you had bought any of those products,
it's vegetables,
the guacamole, any of the produce, throw
dairy.
it away.
You might want to check what's in your fridge tonight. A major produce company is recalling more than 140 vegetable products sold at supermarkets across the United States, including the Bay Area, over listeria concerns. And we're talking broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, Brussels sprouts, and much more from fresh.
Not shopping food there.
It's easier to fool a man than to convince him he's been fooled. People do not seek truth. They seek comfort. They cling to their beliefs, not because they are right, but because they are afraid to be wrong. The chains of ignorance are light until the day you try to break them.
Listen to what Elon has to say about the future.
Probably none of us will have a job. There will be, but in that benign scenario, there will be universal high income. Not universal basic income, universal high income. There will be no shortage of goods or services. And I think the benign scenario is the most likely scenario, probably, I don't know, 80% likely, if you ask, in my opinion. The question will not be one of lacking goods or services. You'll have, everyone will have access to as much in the way of goods and services as they would like. The question will really be one of meaning, of how, if the computer can do, and the robots can do everything better than you, then what does your life have meaning?
Before the virus meets our cells is what triggers the most protective antibody response. So Keith must make the spike protein in the lab, locking it into exactly the same shape by adding another protein that acts a bit like a clamp. And that protein is a tiny fragment of HIV.
Why the fuck did no one tell me that Ijuan is planning on erasing us in the future? Just watch.
We will have the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. There will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job, but the AI will be able to do everything.
So he revealed that AI is about to completely replace us because robots are now smarter than us. And it's worse than you think because new studies are literally showing humans getting dumber and dumber. But this is where things get weird. A whistleblower doctor revealed an ingredient that may help, but for some reason it's getting wiped off the internet. Watch this clip while you still can.
Most people probably don't realize that they're walking around right now at about 55%, maybe 60% of their true state of normal. There is a nutrient, an amino acid, an element missing from their body that if they knew what it was, would make the difference between them being an average person and being a superhuman.
Don't end your sentence there, Gary.
So it's called L-methionine.
So he's talking about L-theanine. Studies show that it's like a building block for dopamine in your brain. This is also called the flow state, which make hard tasks seem way easier. Even Joe Rogan came out on his podcast talking about the same amino acid and how celebrities have been using it for years to get ahead of the rest of us.
Tell people about some stuff that I have no affiliation with. NeuroGum. We go through 4 or 5 fucking boxes of that stuff.
And you really, NeuroGum really works?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh wow.
It's got theanine in it and caffeine and a couple other things, and what it does is it enhances your memory. It enhances your brain's ability to form sentences. And
whoa.
Joe was talking about this gum. It's the first gum to have real L-theanine along with caffeine. This freaking blend is like a weapon when I need to focus. It only takes like 5 minutes for me to feel that like buzz, and it's like a bunch of tabs in my brain just like close. It's like coffee, but I haven't felt those like shaky jitters on my computer. And I also don't need to buy like a second cup of coffee because there's no like afternoon crash. And just the fact that I'm not relying on poison is nice. And it is so much cheaper too. It's like what, 15 cents for one piece? The only bad thing about this brand is that since people started finding out that Joe Rogan was using it, they are always selling out. I'm pretty sure they did one last restock before the TikTok ban, but I think it says it ends tonight. If you see a link in like one of these corners, they may still have some left. I hope this helps.